Okay, welcome. I thought I'd do this a quick video to kind of clear up any problems we may have with uh, perfectly competitive market for labor. Right? I think I may not have done a really good job of explaining this. I think the last video on perfect competitor was a little confusing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're looking at labor, right? So we have the market for a perfectly competitive market for workers, which really means it's an unskilled labor force. They're homogeneous, right? And we're going to so we just do a regular market, all right? This is supply and demand of labor. The wage rate is $10 an hour. The number of workers is 300,000. So that's your market for labor. Now we have to go and say, well, what is the firm going to do? So the firm will draw, right? Now we have their X and Y axis. Very similar to the perfectly competitive market for products, you have the market setting the wage. The firm is what is called a wage taker. They take the wage from the market, okay? And then they become a horizontal, perfectly elastic supply curve, wage, marginal factor cost, marginal resource cost, whatever you want to label it, right? And it's perfectly elastic because the workers are identical. They're unskilled workers. So we'll label that. Right, and then the next thing we want to bring in is our marginal revenue product, which is our marginal product times price. So marginal product, this is the slope of the marginal product curve, right? And then we just multiply that by the price, and that gives us our marginal revenue product, which is also our demand. We go to where they intersect, all right? Purple dot, dash down, 3,000 is the number of workers the firm will hire to maximize its profits. It's where MRP is equal to MFC. All right, so that's your basic graph. All graphs should start off looking like this. Now, let's take the situation from the class kick worksheet, which said a new yo-yo machine increases the productivity of labor. All right, so this is going to affect the labor market, not the product market. So we'll pull up the formula real quick. We have marginal revenue product is equal to the marginal product of the worker times the price of the product. So in this case, the productivity of the worker is going up, so marginal product will increase, and that means marginal revenue product will increase. If we go look at the graph below, we will show that with a rightward shift of the marginal revenue product, right? And you notice I left off the tail. There's no reason to put the tail in. Okay, we're only going to focus on the downward sloping part. All right, we go there, we dot it, we come down, and we have, because the worker is more productive and he's bringing the firm in more money, we're going to hire more workers. This firm would hire 4,000 workers. And you see that with the rightward shift of the MRP curve. Now let's look at one that shows the demand for yo-yos decreases. So this is a product, not a labor, this is a product question, right? Not a labor question. So we have the MRP. If the demand for yo-yos decreases, the market for yo-yos in the product market will decrease, so price will decrease. If price is decreasing, then the marginal revenue product is also going down, right? So the work is going to be worth less for me because that part of the equation. Now, we're going to have a leftward shift of the MRP curve, also known as the demand curve, right? And you're going to see that since the worker is bringing in less money for the firm is only willing to hire 1,000 workers. Okay, so that's a quick thing on the graphs of the perfect competitor. Please understand that this market here is the market for labor, not for the yo-yos. This is the market for unskilled workers. This determines the price, the wage, and then we bring it over here, right? The only thing that's going to make the MFC, the wage, change is something that happens here. Okay, if there's a decrease in supply of unskilled workers, all the other workers will be worth more. The wage will go up. We'll come here. The MFC will move upward, and it'll intersect the marginal revenue product at a lower number of workers. right? Which, if you think about how that, working that through, that does make sense. All right, but you really need to, I really need to emphasize this is the market for labor. All right, hopefully that clears some things up. Have a good night.